Don't swear. Right. Okay. Right.
Struggling with glasses today.
I know, I'm really struggling with water. Okay, fine. Hello. Right. Welcome to Understanding and Delivering Change, which is obviously part of my CIPD course. We can say hello quickly. So obviously, I'm Ed and I'm the training manager.
I'm Anna, I'm the operations manager.
And Steve, operations manager.
Brilliant. Fine. So, my favourite part of any training course, in case of emergency landing, your fire escapes are here. There are no planned fire alarms today. The toilet's just outside on the left-hand side. And if a fire alarm was to go off, we would meet at the round table outside. Any questions on that? Yep. Fine. Obviously, we'll go down to everyone needs to nip out, take a phone call, do anything like that. Please just do it, and we will carry on. Cool. So I've knocked up an agenda for today. Introductions we've done, aims and objectives we will come on to. Then we're going to do an icebreaker, which I've spelled interestingly. Then we're going to go through the 5 changes, 5 change behaviours, the 3 T's, which will become apparent when we get into it. Lewin's force field, which you actually will use in every single day of your life, but you just don't know you're using it, and possible ways of how to use it better. And then Kotter's 8 steps, which is a kind of which is a more structured way of delivering change in quite a big way. And it's 8 very simple steps that we will go through together. Cool. Right, so today's aim is to gain a deeper understanding of change, the emotion of change, and how to help influence change. So I've put down 4 objectives, which I understand is quite punchy for a 25-minute session, but we will have a go anyway. So we're going to try and understand what the 3 T's are. Understand the 5 behaviours of change, understand 2 change theories, which we'll do from the above objectives, and then you will hopefully feel more confident in engaging, helping and influencing change. Okay. Cool, right, icebreaker. So, Steve, I need you to kind of face that way. And Anna, I need you to kind of face that way.
Sure.
So Anna is going to be the drawer. Okay. So obviously one of the most important parts of change is communication. So we'll give you 4 minutes to do this. I'm going to give Steve a piece of paper.
Okay.
And it's the most simple instruction in the world. Okay. So Anna, you have to keep looking that way. So we'll put you look that way. Okay. And then Steve, you are going to describe what is on this paper to Anna, and you're going to draw it. So if there was a smiley face in the middle of it, you draw a smiley face. Get it?
Sure, yeah.
But and obviously the aim of this is to use communication, but also the communication has to be accurate. So there you go, Steve.
Am I allowed to say what they are?
Yes, you have to say what they are. You don't have to describe them.
Okay, if you're putting the paper on landscape.
Right.
No, portrait, sorry. At the top there is a long rectangle that's hollow, so it's the outline of a rectangle.
Can I talk back to it?
Yeah, of course you
So is the rectangle portrait or landscape?
The rectangle is landscape.
And how far near the top?
It's about 2 inches from the top, and it's about 1.5 inches long from either border.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay, so on the left-hand side, just underneath the rectangle, there's a solid circle, about 1/4 of the page large.
On the left-hand side, underneath the rectangle.
Yep.
So is it like half the size of the rectangle?
It's 3. So 3 of the circles would make the entire rectangle.
Okay, yeah. Solid, yeah.
And yep, that's solid. That's coloured in.
Yeah. Okay.
Underneath that, there is a portrait rectangle that's solid, and about half as long again as the circle.
Okay, so does it start from the left of the circle and run into the middle of the
It does. Underneath the circle, there's about 1 inch gap, and then there's the solid rectangle, which is half as long again as the circle. And that's portrait, so that's going to be a longer one.
Oh, portrait.
Yeah.
Shit. Half as long again as the circle.
Yeah.
the drawer open.
Portrait? That's not going to fit. Hang on. Sorry.
Is this the most fun you've ever had?
Sorry. Right. Underneath the circle.
Yep.
There's an inch gap.
Yep.
And then there's a portrait rectangle
Yes.
that's as long as as wide as. How wide is it?
So it's as wide as the circle,
Okay, right.
but it's half as long again.
Okay, right. Okay, got it.
So
Yeah,
this
okay,
one's
sorry.
so this one's taller than it is wider.
Right. Okay.
Right, then underneath the rectangle and touching the rectangle, there's an upwards facing arrow and a downwards facing arrow, but they've been joined together to make one solid shape.
Underneath the rectangle.
Yeah, the upwards point of the arrow is touching the rectangle.
Are you definitely going to use this in your next ops meeting? yeah.
Joined together to make one solid shape.
Yeah, so imagine two block arrows.
Yeah.
There's one pointing up, one pointing down, but they're joined on the bit in the middle.
Okay.
So you've got two arrowheads and an arrow bit in the middle joined.
Okay.
That was dead eloquent, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was like poetry for that, mate. I was on board.
Something like that.
Yeah. And then on the right hand side, in about the middle of the page, there's an elongated love heart.
90
In the middle
seconds.
of the page?
That did make this quite
Yeah.
difficult, actually.
Right in the middle of the page.
Yeah, right in the middle of the page. There's an elongated love heart, and that's solid and coloured in as well.
Okay. Yeah.
And then underneath that, if you were looking at your page landscape, it says crafted pubs. So from the bottom point of the love heart, it says crafted pubs, but you need to turn your paper landscape to write it. And that's it.
Great. I was going to turn the camera off. Right, okay, fine. So, dun dun dun, the big reveal.
Okay, not bad, not bad.
That is not bad at all.
That's great.
Right, it's really good. So, I suppose everyone always misses that bit without fail. So, what did you learn about the communication there?
Yeah, it was two-way communication.
Yeah.
Great.
Which was good.
Fine, perfect.
I think, without being able to ask you questions back,
Yeah.
that would have been able to do that.
No.
Yeah.
But
That's pretty close. I mean, I've seen some really tough ones. So, well done. Fine. Right. Nicely warmed up now. I literally feel like I'm back at work. Okay, fine. So I thought I would pop in the dictionary definition of change. So alter, vary, modify, mean to make or become different. Change implies making either an essential difference, and I think the key bit in that is it might be essential, it might feel essential to you, but not necessarily to the people that you're trying to influence. Difference often amounting to a loss of original identity, which can be hard to let go, which will come with different emotions that we'll go through in a minute. Or identify a substitution for one thing for another, so you're just swapping things in and out. Okay. So, this has been chemically proven. So this is me looking scared. So change, however little or however small it is, the neuroscientists have worked out that you feel fear. So in your daily lives, when you're trying to change things, it might be something as small as we're putting in a new cleaning rotor, which to you will feel tiny, like just, make sure that the bins get emptied at this time. But actually, to a lot of people, they will instantly feel fear. So it's important to always have that in the back of your mind when you're trying to work with change. So change, what are the benefits?
Stop things becoming stagnant.
Great,
evolve your business.
fabulous. Can
Um,
you give me an example?
what of how businesses evolve?
Yes.
I think a good example of how any business has evolved is McDonald's. You look
Fine.
at McDonald's in like the 80s and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get it now,
Nice.
you get a salad and you can get a coffee, a latte, and they've moved with the times.
Brilliant.
Really good.
Exactly. Another one, maybe look at Apple. Back when
Yeah.
they first started with their great big clunky, ugly
Yeah.
PCs, and now they basically rule the world.
Yeah. I think overwhelmingly change is viewed as a good thing, but quite often as a scary thing. Cool. So, Kubler-Ross model. Obviously, I will send these notes out afterwards to everybody to just understand the 5 different behaviours that people will go through.
It's like the 5 stages
With change.
of a hangover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the 5 stages of being caught doing something. Fine. I hate you. Fine. So shock and denial takes up 2/7 of it. So I'm trying to think let's think of a good example. Right, so we are changing the wages system. I think that's probably something all 3 of us can relate to. Okay, shock and denial. The bosses are crazy. How am I doing for time? That's fine, perfect. Shock and denial. The bosses are crazy. Why on earth would we be doing this? 2, anger. Oh my god, the bosses are horrible, horrible people. What else they're doing, they're so out of touch. Okay. And then for me, there's actually a mini step between anger and then depression, because there's kind of a mini 5 in there that you've possibly started to accept it, and then you become depressed and you become sad. So you know that this change is imminent. 4, I think, is the most interesting one, bargaining. Well, why don't we carry on using the old system? Because the new system is clearly not going to work. And then people will try and make the change how they want the change to happen.
So on their terms.
On their terms, that's
Yeah.
completely, those are the words I'm looking for. And then 5th is acceptance. So it's quite interesting to see the peaks and troughs of how people are going to feel. So shock and denial, anger, depression, and then bargaining and acceptance. And then what's really important is to keep reinforcing things at 5. So if you have put in an employee system, to keep reinforcing that at level 5. Okay, so we're going to talk about the 3 T's now, which are for ease of use, small, medium and large versions of change. And afterwards we're going to do a quick activity together, which I've done this sheet for. Okay, so what we're going to do on it is talk about the 3 different T's that are probably relevant in our industry. So you can think small to big, obviously I'll go through the T's. I think small to big, and then quite often that this change wasn't appreciated or liked, but then actually the end result was a good one. Okay, so T numero uno is transactional. Generally the lowest impact change, training on a new system, okay? Communicating the rationale of the decision and being committed to reducing the changes of impact. So a very small change. We're going to go from using this red wine glass to that red wine glass. We're going to do from we're going to go from using this cutlery to that cutlery. Very, very simple change. Okay. But again, always worth bearing in mind that transactional change to you, being senior, if we're changing that wine glass, is just a very quick decision for you. But for the person that's polishing that wine glass, etc., it's going to feel a bit different. So transitional middle change, as I call it, replacing old systems and processes with new ones, i.e. we're putting in a new wage system. Okay, this for some people can be difficult, as it's not all like change. The benefits should be clearly communicated from the outset. So obviously we wouldn't just put in a new wage system and go, off you go. This is going to be better for your businesses, we will be more profitable, we will be more legal. It's about communicating it out there to start off with. The benefits should be clearly communicated and the speed of the improvement. So it's nice to kind of follow up with all kinds of change quite quickly. So i.e. we've put in a new wage system and after a month of using it we save 2% on the wages. All employees should be trained, or people that are relevant that need access to that system, and employees should be trained as part of the evolution, so they feel part of the change. So an example of that would be that maybe you were going to change your wage system to 4th, and that all of the ops team went to see 4th and went to sit in action and had really bought into the change before you delivered it to a wider team. And then the biggie at the end, as I'm always falling over, transformational, the largest change of all. The comms should be well defined. It's a big change. A good example of this would be a new managing director. A massive move from the people department, i.e. we will never put anybody on a 0 hours contract. We will feed every member of staff. We will, probably all the big things that we all like to talk about. We've hired a new marketing director that's going to completely change everything for us. With the execution of change being methodical, so you need to be snappy, you need to be all over it. And employees should be a part of every step with constant reinforcement. The new MD is doing a great job, the new MD is doing a great job, and making sure everybody feels a part of that change. So, as an exercise, give a verbal example of each team. If you need to copy me, copy me. So, example of transitional, a new stock system was introduced and then stock takes can be done from your mobile phone. The initial reaction was tough as it had been written down and entered on a computer for years, how we used to do it back in the day. Though at the end the team came round as they could see the benefits of the new system. Okay. So small change, medium change, big change, and we'll have a quick chat about it.
Alright, so small change is something like a wine glass was the example.
Yeah.
So maybe we change it and say we use a new trays to carry things.
Great.
Something like that.
That
Okay,
is a
new
great-
drinks trays.
New drinks trays.
Okay, what don't we like about them?
They don't balance the drinks as well as the old trays. They feel strange, and I keep dropping.
So therefore, it's not really a tray.
They're lighter, and I find
fine.
it harder to
Don't
carry.
balance. Everybody really likes the old black ones.
Yeah,
They don't like the
they
new
don't
red
slip.
ones.
The black ones
Yeah.
didn't slip. The red ones slip, and I
Yeah.
keep dropping the drinks and
Don't like the colour.
don't like the colour. They're smaller. Can't get as many drinks on them.
Colour, too small.
I can't carry 10 drinks anymore. I can only carry
Too
6.
small. And the outcome? I'm going to do it anyway.
The outcome.
Did the trays work?
Did the trays work?
So yeah, because they're lighter, you can actually, in the long run, you can carry more drinks with them. That's the whole
Lighter.
reason that we did them, and they can stack easier and they're
Carry more
cheaper.
drinks. And they stuff.
Something like that.
Something like that.
I like that. New trays for everyone.
Yeah, red trays all around.
Okay, so
Uh,
transitional.
So maybe like we've put in a new booking system. We've gone from
Right.
open table to design my night.
Change from open table to 7 rooms.
Yeah.
To 7 rooms. Didn't like that 7 rooms was mainly app based.
Yeah.
Used to using a PC.
Didn't like the interface.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Don't like the layout.
Yeah. It's confusing because I don't understand how to use it.
Okay. The outcome from that is that 7 rooms can be used on your phone, which means you
Yeah.
could do it on the go or during the shift.
Saw that the other day actually.
Actually, once you get to use it, it is actually easier and quicker.
It's looking quicker.
And because you can use it on your phone, is it better because you can rely on the 3G and not if your Wi-Fi goes down, you can still.
That's it, and you can use this as a host pad as well because you can just be around in the building signing people and doing tables.
So actually, it's just that change, isn't it? Getting used to
Yeah.
using a new system, but yeah.
So getting used to the change. Transformational. Got new GM.
There you go. That's pretty transformational.
Didn't like. We like the old GM.
Didn't like him because he doesn't work Sundays.
Really?
GMs didn't work Sundays. I mean,
And that's just
didn't work
unforgivable.
I'm thinking you have to work some days on the
He never did a close
He
either.
doesn't do a close, yeah. Doesn't work Sundays, doesn't do a close, drinks a lot of coffee in the office, doesn't do any work. they're the usual gripes, aren't they, with
Cool,
an EGM?
Steve.
But then the outcome is actually, he doesn't work Sunday, but he does work doubles every other day of the week.
Doubles every other day.
He's hired a really good deputy who can always work Sundays.
He's really savvy. He's turned the business around.
And he's developed a really good deputy, and he's developed the rest of the management team. So he's not as hands-on as our old GM, but actually he's developed our careers. So in the long run, that's great.
So, yeah, so we love him. So yeah,
We love
Steve's
him.
great.
Yeah.
There we go.
Is that right?
Great, fine, perfect. So, Anna, do you want to read them out quickly?
Okay, so our example of a transactional
Transactional.
is the new drink trays. We've been asked to use new drink
Yeah.
trays. We don't like them because they don't weigh the same, so we feel like we're dropping the drinks, they don't balance quite right. The colour's a bit garish, it's red,
Right.
and they're too small, so we can't fit as many drinks on them.
And who is it most likely to impact?
So this is the runners, the
Yeah,
drinks
fine.
runners and the bartenders.
And I suppose you put on the runners on a scale of 1 to 5, do you think they're most likely to be fearful of change or not fearful of change?
Fearful of change.
Because they're the most junior.
Yeah, they're the most junior.
And they like routine and they like to know what to do and where to do and when to do it.
And that is their job, is carrying drinks on a tray. That's their main tool
Yeah,
of
yeah.
their job.
And if you, and it's, yeah,
But you've just changed it.
I'm sure I understand the living room. I think somebody gave me an example of someone changing how the ice machine was cleaned.
Yeah.
But if you're a bar back and all you do is clean ice machines, if that changes, that's a really big deal. Whereas for us, we'd be like, cool. So transitional.
So we've changed from open table to a different system called 7 Rooms.
Yeah, nice.
It's app based. You can use it on your phone. So the dislikes are that it's on a phone. So it's a smaller thing. It's different to what we're used to. We don't understand how to put bookings on and move reservations around, and it's a new confusing piece of tech we need to use basically. So we don't like it.
How did you? I've just put the 3 T's back up. How did you communicate that you were changing the booking system?
So I guess we would tell.
We had that staff meeting about
Right.
it.
That's really
We
good.
started meeting with the hosts and the managers.
Yeah.
We did a training session.
Yeah.
We had a follow-up web forum thing we could
Yeah,
go
nice.
on.
They went to 7 Rooms. They did a whole day with them. It was good.
And the overall result is really positive.
Yeah, I think once they realise that actually it's slicker and quicker, it's usable on your mobile.
Yeah.
It works in exactly the same way as the old one, just slightly more modern really.
Nice.
So yeah, they were actually in the end they liked it.
I think you were quite punchy in a good way with that being transitional. I think changing, especially if it's one pub, maybe it's transitional. I think if you were changing an entire group booking system, that could actually be transformational.
Yeah,
Because if
yeah.
you're increasing your booking capacities, then that's pretty big stuff. Then transformational, new gem.
Yeah, transformational. We went with new GM. They didn't like him because they liked their old GM, and this one can't work Sunday.
Yeah.
He's always in the office. He's
All the things we hate.
all the things we hate. But then actually in the long run, we've realised that he's a bit more hands off. But that means that the other managers can grow underneath him, and that's transformational for them.
Good work, team. Cool. So now that we've learned about the 3 T's, we're going to talk about change, influence, and process quite quickly. Fine. So this is probably the easiest model to understand. Okay. So his name's Kurt Lewin. Lewin's force field. The block in the book is the thing that you want to change. If more people want to change it, it will work. If more people don't want to change it, it won't work. And I think this is what I'm hinting at about influence here. So if you were going to try and influence change, what do you think is a key first step to do? If you need as many arrows on this side as you
communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Transparency.
Yeah.
Honesty, communication.
Yeah, but you would want lots of people on your team, basically.
Yeah.
Imagine, I think the easiest way to define this is like a rugby scrum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So the more people pushing it through, the better. So I suppose examples for me is whatever change you are trying to deliver. You need to have the right stakeholders on board. If you just go waltzing into a union and be like, right, we're changing the booking system on your own, that's not going to go down well. Whereas if you've communicated it properly and you have the right people on board and there are people it's been communicated through, you'll get many more green arrows instantly that will help the rugby
You
scrum.
need to get people to agree there's an issue with
Yeah.
the booking system at first as well, don't you, before you get it all changed.
Brilliant comment, Anna, which nicely brings us on to. Okay, so Kotter's 8 steps. Obviously, you don't have to use this for everything, but it's quite useful, and we've already talked about some of the steps. So there's 8 steps that come in different groups. So, you want to change something. So we want to let's stick with the booking system, that's working. Okay, right. The first thing we need to do is create an urgency about it. Why would it be urgent that we need to change the booking system?
We're losing sales.
Yeah.
Good answer, Anna.
Yeah.
Yes, we're losing sales. We're not fulfilling our capacities. Fine. So we've just talked about this. Step number 2, form a powerful coalition. So you've had that light bulb moment at home in the kitchen. Right, we're going to go and use this new booking system. Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah.
So you
So if this is an actual example that we're going to start to change the booking system, who are the kinds of people you would
So we
phone?
could call some different booking system
Yeah.
operators and ask them to come and pitch and show us what they can offer. And
And then what kind of stakeholders within the business?
You want IT,
Correct.
purchasing, marketing.
Yeah.
You want all the people who are on the decision-making board, to be honest.
Great.
And then you need a strong pitch from each of them so you can
Yeah.
make a decision.
So step 2, we're all on board. Okay. Step 3, create a vision for change. So you've had the board signed off. At this point, you would probably be relaying it to operations managers or to general managers. Mm-hmm. This booking system is going to revolutionise us, and get on board. Okay, which helps the Scrum arrows. Okay. The next segment you're going to do is called engaging and enabling. Okay. So now we're going to communicate the vision. We've had 7 rooms signed off. We've bought the software. We've bought some expensive also. Yeah, I've got flaming hands, man. Honestly.
Yeah.
Right. Communicating the vision. Communicating the vision. Okay, so communicating the vision. So we would do that through webinars, through meetings. Area meeting would probably be the obvious one that we would attack it in our district. Okay. So, super important. We would then next empower action. So, as we all know from some of the different talks and theories, is empowerment will definitely help you get over the line. Empowering an action would be getting all the general managers in the meeting. We've got Mr. 7 Rooms or Mrs. 7 Rooms come down to give us a demo. They're all going to have a go on the system. They're not going to, because changing booking systems can be so scary because if you mess it up and you overbook, trouble times ahead. Okay? And then you're going to create quick wins. So, an example of that might be that you have got a star general manager in a new business, and you know that when you put the system in, it's going to really help your sales quickly. You can put that on a table, send it out, and communicate it.
So things like them getting that extra 2 bookings on Saturday night where
Yes.
they usually wouldn't get to.
Yeah,
There you go. There you go.
Showing the
yeah.
figures and also get that general manager to be an ambassador for
Yeah.
it and
Absolutely.
all the others that
And
actually
then empower them to train other sites. And yeah, you're exactly right, Steve. So a great example of that would be, we would normally have 1 booking in the private dining room that would create £1,000. We then have 3 bookings that created £3,000. Quick win.
Yeah.
If you've got 10 pubs, and
Now,
you do another
now you
3.
can afford your extra bartender.
Yeah.
Now you can afford your extra
Yeah.
bartender.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's a winner.
And then the last 2, you're going to implement it and sustain it. So you're going to build on the change. Okay, so you're going to maximise using 7 rooms. Okay, and then you have to make it stick. If you don't make it stick, it's a bit like Tetris. You can end up going back a few levels. So the 3 different stages to go over it again: create a climate for change, communicate it, get everybody on board. Green is basically do the change, enable it to get those wins out there mega quick so that the rest of the organisation are on board. And then red is actually probably the hardest one, because after 6, the excitement ends up finishing a bit because we've put the new system on, we've all patted each other on the back, and then somebody hasn't kept their eye on it, and then you'll end up going back a few stages. So, as the last exercise, if we just come up with maybe another system that we were going to change,
Okay.
and then just kind of write down a quick example of the steps that you're going to go through and how you would do it. So it's exactly those
Yeah.
8 steps.
Okay, so how about putting in a digital ticket screen or something?
QSR.
Yeah,
Cool.
QSR.
Great.
Yeah?
Yeah, perfect.
QSR, create urgency.
So the ticket machines keep crashing on a Saturday night. We're missing tickets.
Yeah, missing
it's expensive
tickets.
because you've run out of ticket rolls.
Nice.
Like this is one-stop shop.
Make that change.
Make that
Missing
change.
tickets.
If you want to change it, make a change on a ticket, it automatically you have to print it again. It's all on there.
Okay, so we need a QSR company and we need them to pitch to the right people. So the right team.
And Powerful Coalition, we need to get a couple of really key GMs
Yeah.
on board with the needing to make this change.
GMs,
And we need
yeah.
to get them involved with the process, so they need to be there at the pitch. So there's an operator there. So it's not
Actually,
just
one of
coming
these
from up,
guys
everyone-
are just doing. I'll just give a quick tour of the room. So I'm on the screen there, and then also the windows are nice and open, so it's nice and bright, keeping
Understandable.
everyone on their toes.
Yeah.
So it's
So you
understandable.
piece the camera there.
So it's understandable and people are understanding that.
And go-
Communicating.
Yeah, invite them to a meeting, explain it to them properly.
Yeah.
Nice.
Invite them to like a dummy run, like playing with it and touch it, feel it.
So
Feeling
meeting,
good turns.
dummy runs,
Yeah.
dummy runs highlighting the benefits. Empowering action. So we've got these 2 superstar GMs. It's going live in their sites.
Yeah, they're going to trial it. They're going to feedback anything.
Area trainers.
Yeah,
nice.
good.
Live in their sites. The area trainers are on it. It's quick wins. We're going to highlight how many more main courses they were able to actually get out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the actual stats.
Yeah.
Show them the stats.
Main courses per hour. Stats. Build on change. Perfect time for the champion GMs to be able to highlight any glitches or issues and
Yeah.
be able to modify them for each site.
So when it rolls out across the company, it's
Yeah.
nice and smooth. Ready to go.
Making it stick. Remove all ticket machines.
And keep reviewing it as well. So review. Make sure we go back and review it after 6
Yeah.
months or 3 months. and
League,
spit out.
league tables.
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Review and adapt.
Review it that nice.
Cool. So, I'm going to put this in perfectly. Actually, if we go back to. So, fine. So, we were changing the ticket system in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Fine. So, create agent urgency.
Highlighting that we're missing tickets, they're constantly crashing, so
Great.
we're not getting to tables.
Form Powerful Coalition.
Okay, sourcing a few QSR companies to be able
Yeah.
to pitch to the right team and some key GMs as well to champion it.
Nice. Create a vision for change.
Packaging it
Make that change.
Packaging it so it's understandable, not complicated, and people understand why we're implementing it.
A one-pager. Fine, yeah. Communicating the vision.
Staff meetings all around, dummy runs, again highlighting the benefits. Again, this is where the 2 superstar GMs come in.
Empowering action. Empower action, sorry.
Live in the sites.
Great.
Making sure that there's support from the area trainers.
Nice. Craig wins.
Bringing out the stats for them, main courses per hour slots. All the statistics for them, showing them that this is working and you're able to do your services through that.
Cool. Building on change.
Modify each one for each site, highlighting any glitches. So obviously it's not going to be a blanket change. Each place is going to be different. So each system is different in each of the venues.
Making it stick.
Remove all ticket machines and make sure that you're reviewing and adapting.
Perfect. I think that's a really good way of doing it. I've actually got some blank, but I've got some versions of this that I can send out to you. And I think obviously it's like, you're changing a glass. You might not have to do these 8 steps, but if there was something fundamental specifically in your region that you really wanted to change, I find it quite useful just to kind of jot through the 8 steps quickly, because then you're going to get your timeline map sorted. Well done. Cool. So we'll quickly go back to the first. What? You haven't said it, and you came in here doubting. Right. Objectives. 3 teams we know: big, medium, and small. Small, big, medium. Whatever you want to do around. Understand the 5 changes of pain. Sad.
Sad, angry,
So,
depressed, bargaining, accepting.
Accepting, yeah. Bargaining, accepting. 2 change theories, so we did Lewins and Cotters.
Yep.
So Lewins, for me, it's just a quickie, like more people in the squad and get the ball over the line. Cotters is probably more for transitional and transformational change. And then, do you now feel more confident in helping and influencing change?
I do, I'm going to change so much stuff.
I'm just going to live for change. Any questions?
No, all good.
Good?
Thanks.
My pleasure.